What is up? All right, so let's try and record this again. I went through a long recording of this and the audio, I did not have my mic on, but it's looking like it's on. We're good. And I'm going to let go of that. And I'm going to share with you one of the things that, from a mindset, because it's Monday, we do kind of more mindset to start the week out. This is more than just mindset. This is what would be termed as embodiment. There's one thing to think about things. It's one thing to actually be something. And this is very important when it comes to business. And is one of the things that for me was a turning point. See, I always put others on a pedestal. I'd seek out mentors. I'd seek out people who I thought were up here so that I could then get up there and I would be fulfilled. I would not have imposter syndrome anymore. I would not have anxiety anymore. I would not have fear anymore. I'd feel secure. Same thing with how much money I was making. If I could make this much money, then I would have security. Not specifically happiness, but I would be secure. But the more that I would make, the more insecure I'd become. And I don't mean insecure as in nervous or whatever. I mean, yeah, there was that, but I mean insecure as in I would feel like everything would come crashing down even harder, because going from 5 figures to 6 figures to 7 figures, every step of the way, it was harder and harder and harder of a drop that was going to happen. That changed when these concepts started becoming not just something to think about, but something that I was. And I'm going to share that with you today. But before that, hello, my name is Dean Soto. I am the founder and president of prosulum.com, prosulum.com. What the heck is that? Virtual staffing agency. We are a virtual staffing company. Real people, not AI. And you've probably heard of a virtual assistant. It's a real person who does work for you overseas. Typically, they're half the cost of somebody here in the States. But we have something even better than virtual assistants. We have virtual systems architects. Not only do you give them a task to do, once you give them that task, they document it step by step into a procedure that you have for your business forever. Step by step with pictures and everything like that. So easy that your grandma could do it. You can say, hey, grandma, emergency. I need you to do my social media for me. Oh, that sounds great. I'll definitely do that. Oh, yeah, this is so easy. And grandma starts doing it. Okay. So not only do you give them a task, your typical virtual assistant, you give them a task, they'll ask a ton of questions and you're babysitting. You give a virtual systems architect a task, they will document it step by step, then do it. Then you give them another task. They do the same thing. Boom, 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 boom. 30 tasks later, that's 30 things you never have to do ever again in your business. And your business starts working without you, starts making money without you. And you start making money while you sleep, which is fantastic. And you can scale just like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary, so on and so forth. If that sounds good, if that's what you are interested in, then go to www.prosulum.com/schedule and hop on a call with us. But let's get into this. This is essentially releasing your brakes is another way of putting this, okay? Letting go, the hidden key to business success. Release the blocks, unlock your potential. So, yeah. most people think that, because I was the exact same way, that there's something out there that will give you the fulfillment that you're asking for. And it could be fulfillment in finances, fulfillment in relationships, fulfillment in whatever. But what you're going to find is that most entrepreneurs, most people carry invisible baggage. I mean, how often have you met somebody, talked to somebody, whether it's somebody that you're interested in romantically, whether it's somebody you're interested in as a friend, whether it's a business colleague, whether it's an employee, whether it is a potential client, where as you're talking, you are starting to gather that they have habits and dispositions that are not a good fit. And no matter what you say, I have this one guy who I talk to at Sprouts, and I've known him now for at least 2 years. Super smart guy, friendly, very nice, very fun to talk to. But I've tried to get him into investing in crypto because he actually talked about it for quite a long time. And I remember telling him, yeah, dude, this is last year, hop into XRP, hop into XLM, and I give him a list of cryptocurrencies. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm just researching, man. I'm researching. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And he comes in to me and he's like, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? So this is last year. Well, the cryptocurrencies that I had told him about went up around 600%. And what do you think he says as of today? They went up 600% from November to now. What do you think he says when I ask him, have you invested yet? He says, oh yeah, I'm still researching it. I'm still doing it. And I've got some money on the sidelines. I'm going to the exact same thing. Why? Why is he in the exact same place? Is it because he hasn't researched enough? Is it because he hasn't found the right mentor out there? No, it's because he has suppressed emotions. He has mental blocks. And these blocks are sabotaging his ability to make a decision and to move forward, which means stuck growth and repeated failures. He could have been up 600%, put $1,000 in, and he would have 6 times his money. But he didn't not because he doesn't know enough, but because there are things within him and things within you and things within me that cause us to miss opportunities, cause us to make fear-based decisions. His decision was a decision not to do something. And the problem is that eventually you start reaching burnout by trying to find things out there and fighting what is in here. As a business owner, this leads to things like poor team relationships and revenue plateaus that literally make no logical sense. Here he is, and I'm not knocking him because I do this. You do this. Everybody does this. He has money on the sidelines. He has a mentor saying, do it. This is why. And his revenue plateaued. My revenue plateaued when I acted in this way. Okay. So these blocks keep you in a state that's comfortable. Okay. Even if it doesn't make sense. Here's the thing. Your nervous system runs your business. This is a new kind of fad of language that's coming out. Nervous system rewiring, things about your nervous system. If you look in the more psychological realm on TikTok and so on, everything's about the nervous system, which is true. Okay. The thing is that your stress responses hijack clear thinking. It keeps you from making decisions that are creative and embodied and are true to you. You get put into this fight or flight mode that keeps you in a state where you're comfortable. That's protected you ever since you were young. The thing is, tension in the body equals tension in results. Your physiology actually determines your performance. It's no wonder, have you seen people who get into certain types of relationships? Maybe it's an abusive relationship, a narcissistic abuse relationship. For me, I did things that were very narcissistic because of patterns that I had developed, and it would just create these cycles. But you see people get into relationships that you know are not good for them. And what happens? They get out of it eventually and they go right back into the same type. Then they get out, they go right back in because their nervous system is used to that. That's what is safe for them because they know how to deal, they know how to handle that situation. Might not be a good situation, but they know how to handle it. They know how to handle that situation. So there is a very good book out there called Letting Go. I believe it's by David Hawkins. David Hawkins. And it's all about revealing and releasing these trapped emotions that are in your body. Other more drastic ways of doing this, which is what I went through, is through things such as holotropic breathing. Holotropic breathwork is where you essentially put yourself into a fight or flight state for 30 minutes to an hour. And you're just breathing, hyperventilating essentially. And it causes your body to let go of trapped emotions, trapped things. Your body, scientists are starting to see that it's not just a brain that you have up here in your head. You have a brain in your heart, you have your brain in your gut, and you have your memories are stored in your body. Traumatic memories that are both positive and negative are trapped in your side of your body. And so when you go through things such as like a revealing and releasing meditation from somebody like Brian Begin, BRIAN, it's spelled just like begin. You'll start to allow these emotions to come up. Start to allow them to come up in ways where you don't assign meaning to them. You just let them move through you naturally and they dissolve naturally. Whereas we fight them before. We don't like this feeling because it has a negative meaning. We fight it. The more that you're allowing it to actually come up and even thanking it for coming up, because these things have protected you for so long, and you can finally allow it to let go naturally, you'll start to see that you are releasing your brakes. Imagine, right now you are a Ferrari. You are a Lamborghini. You are amazing. Imagine you as a Lamborghini. This is how awesome you are. Or a McLaren or a Tesla Model S Plaid. You are made to create and to go as fast as you want to go, a fighter jet. But often what's happening is you have your foot on the brake. You might have it all the way on the brake, so you're not going anywhere. You might have it halfway, so you're moving, but you're not going super fast. Once you let go of the brake, boom, the sky's the limit. And that is what we're trying to get at. Your team knows, your husband knows, your wife knows, your kids know, your friends know, your relationship people in your relationships knows. The people that look at you as soon as you walk in a Starbucks know your energy. They know and assess you within seconds. They know if you're pissed off. They know if you're happy. They know if you're comfortable. They know if you're safe. They know if you're nervous. They know if you're unsafe. Women are very, very, very good at this. Women are great at knowing whether somebody is safe or unsafe. And I love seeing people like at the gym who you have people who naturally repel women, and you have people where women feel safe to work out next to because there's a lot of vulnerability there. And for guys on the other end, guys know who is a threat and who's not. Naturally, especially men who have some amount of fighting skill. And I don't mean like I can fight on the streets or whatever. You've studied martial arts in some fashion and have actually used martial arts in it. So jujitsu, Muay Thai, MMA, anything like or wrestling. Wrestling is another one where you are actively, really, truly going at it with somebody else. When I was at Mitsuwa, not too long ago in Orange County, Mitsuwa is like a Japanese store. There was this guy who all tatted up. I mean, there's a lot of people who have tats, right? But this is a guy who's all tatted up, and I just knew he was a fighter. I knew he was a professional fighter too. And typically when you talk to another person, if there is a feeling of any nervousness, unsure, maybe a sense of anything that's not fully safe, or you feel like the other person's a threat, there's going to be some amount of distance created. If I'm talking to somebody brand new and I feel like they're feeling like I'm a threat, or they're feeling unsafe around me, I'll even take a step back just so they feel more comfortable. This guy, we were at this like kind of lunch where what's that called? Where you basically have a lot of restaurants, a food court. And, he got done eating and there's some shops around there. And he ends up walking toward my direction at some point in time, walking to another shop. And so I chat him up and I'm like, dude, I love your tattoos. But what I noticed is he was he was nice. He's like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. He got close and he was comfortable and I was comfortable. And he stayed close as we were talking. Turns out he is a pro fighter. And why is this important? Why is this even a thing? Because I was comfortable because I do martial arts. And he was comfortable because he knew I was not a threat and I knew he was not a threat. And so it was almost like two energies just that were symbiotic. And so we're sitting there chatting and much closer than what normally it would be because of the energy. Okay. And so anyway, I said bye to him. He said bye, and we went off in our directions. But it was such a profound. And this happens those of you who do any type of martial arts like that know what I'm talking about. And you can feel this with other guys in the gym, the guys who you just know are where you would never allow that small amount of space, partially because of their discomfort with you. And then also partially, it depends on who it is, because you can feel that they're not a safe person to be around and you don't know exactly what it is. Your team knows this. Your clients feel this. You can't fake your energetic state. When you're comfortable and you're confident in your service, your product, people feel that, and it creates positive opportunities. The people who are not meant to be in your business go away. The people who are meant come toward you. This allows you, when you're embodied like this, when you release these energetic blocks, when you release these emotional blocks within you, you're able to make big decisions without fear. You're able to allow your intuition and not just your logic to start making decisions for you. And you'll stop second guessing yourself. And you're going to make moves from clarity and not panic. I know back when, if you go and look at videos from years ago on this channel, a lot of the videos I created, despite the fact that my business was growing exponentially, it was out of panic. It was out of fear. I would create these videos so that I could build out content as a buffer should something bad happen. And that's the way it kind of comes across. Rather than now, this is because of enjoyment. This is because I want to share this. These are things that have helped me dramatically in my life. And if it affects one person and gives them something that is fulfilling, then perfect. This is where the intuition and the not second guessing myself, even on the topic. I would always second guess on the topic. This is a topic that's important to me. It made a big impact on my life, and I want to share it with other people. There's no second guessing in this anymore. The ability to make moves from clarity and not panic is so liberating, and it lands in a much better way. Your emotional state affects your team, your relationships, everyone around you. And the thing is, calm leaders create calm cultures. Calm leaders create a culture of allowing creativity, allowing positive growth of your team. Reactive leaders create reactive teams, and you can feel it. When you release your triggers, you are able to transform your company. Okay. And the cool thing is, like, it creates a sales team and a sales culture of that doesn't repel prospects. It's confidence. Get a VSA, because I know that when used correctly, it scales your business. These guys scale your business in ways that you can't find anywhere else. You either like it or you don't. If you want it or don't. I'm not attached to the outcome. and the value speaks for itself. And that's how it is with you and your relationships and your business. It creates more space when you let go of these blocks. The more space you have, the better decisions you make. The better decisions you make, the better results you're going to have. And they just compound exponentially. So at the end of this, I'll give you a rundown again on what I've used to let go of these emotional blocks that block you from achieving success. But ultimately, there's 3 business killers. You have the fear of failure, which paralyzes action. The need to be right. Even with this is like people have this aversion to creating standard operating procedures and documented processes. They might have read the E-Myth, which I highly recommend you read the E-Myth Revisited. I highly recommend you read the book Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. I highly recommend that you read the book Work the System by Sam Carpenter. E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Clockwork by Michael Michalowicz. And Work the System by Sam Carpenter teach you how to build systems in your business so that your business becomes an asset and works without you. But a lot of people, a lot of business owners have a fear that they are going to lose control doing this, that they need to be right. And part of being right is telling somebody, I need you to do this thing without any process, without anything documented, and in a completely illogical way. They get this feeling, this need to be right fulfilled when the other person does it wrong. Because then they can swoop in and say, no, that this is how you do it. Okay, let me show you the right way to do it. And that leads to high turnovers. Nobody likes working for somebody like that. I have a friend who, still a friend, and I still use his business every now and then. Not as much as I used to, but he runs a car detailing, a detailing shop. So he cleans, like I take my Tesla in and he cleans my car. And this has been for years. He has receptionists that change out, that leave every, I would say, 3 to 6 months. And they're always female. And every single time they leave, his reason is because they were dumb or they didn't know how to do something. And he told her numerous times how to do something. And they would get overwhelmed and they would leave. But his thing was always that he was right and they were wrong. He would always show them the right way to do it. They just couldn't do it. And so this need to be right actually caused this loop of needing to be right, quote unquote, would cause this loop of high turnover of his receptionists. Well, it's so funny because he asked me how to fix this. And I gave him Work the System, gave him standard operating procedures, how to create documented processes and so on and so forth. And he did a couple, but then went right back. And what do you think happened with his latest receptionists? They left because they got overwhelmed. He said that they didn't know what they were doing. He showed them and they just didn't do it. and he's back on that same thing. Why is that happening? Because there's something within him that knows that that's safe for him. It's an emotional block that he knows how to deal with. That this need to be right is there. It kills collaboration, kills his business, but it's something that he's comfortable with. And then scarcity mindset obviously is going to limit you in a variety of ways. Your body is the gateway. Your body is the gateway to the success of your business or the demise of your business. And if it's the success to your business at the expense of your relationship, or the relationship at the expense of your business, the reason is because there's something in there that's causing that. So in the book Letting Go, and also in the meditations of that you can find, if you go and search Brian Begin, so it's Brian, Brian, and then Begin, it's spelled like begin, and then reveal and release into YouTube, you'll find meditations that he has that show you how to find these things that are in your body and to let them go. They might not let go right away. They might let go 1%. They might let go 10%, might let go 100%. But you'll do super easy meditations that you'll start to feel, like literally feel spots in your body where these things are. You'll end up breathing into that area, talking to that area, doing things. It's crazy. You're going to do things where you're not going to try and fix it, because there's nothing really to fix. You're not trying to change it. You're trying to do things almost even like thanking this thing, this trauma that was there, because that trauma protected you for so long, and just ask it to release. And it's crazy. It works. You'll see that it actually works. And when this happens, you're going to have clearer strategic thinking, better relationships, both in business and outside of business, increased revenue flow, and you're going to have sustainable growth without burnout, because you're going to do things that are authentically you. You're going to end up, you got two choices. You can either keep fighting or start flowing. Pushing and trying to find the next external thing and trying to fight the feelings that you have, it's exhausting and you'll burn out. That's where I was. But by letting these things go, you're going to move more into a flow. And yes, that did rhyme. Letting these things go, you'll start to get into a flow. And that flow of creativity, that flow of authenticity is so much better feeling than fighting. What I recommend is, so holotropic breathwork, typically you are going to need to have some, I would go someplace that has holotropic breathwork coaches. They usually have events. They're not that expensive, but you would do it with a group under supervision. Highly, highly, highly recommend holotropic breathwork, because you will have the most major changes with that. But then you have to kind of notice the changes afterward. A good alternative to that is a guy named Breathe with Sandy. If you search on YouTube, Breathe with Sandy, trauma, you'll find videos that are 1 hour long. One in particular has the words release trauma on the thumbnail. Highly recommend that 1 hour journey. Do it tonight. Find an hour for yourself, or do it during the day at some point in time. Push through the entire thing. It will be painful. When I did holotropic breath work, I was doing it with a group called the Ascend Brotherhood, and one of my friends in there, I had never he's like, "Hey, have you ever done breath work?" I'm like, "Well, I've done like Wim Hof breathing." And he's like, "Um, let me just tell you that it's going to hurt a lot, but push through. And if you do, you will have a life-changing experience." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm thinking at first it's going to hurt like emotionally. And he's like, "No, it's going to hurt physically. It's going to hurt really badly." And he was right. It hurt. But that was probably one of the most life-changing, if not the most life-changing experiences, because that put me on the path. It, before that, when I would talk to people at a coffee shop, at the gym, anywhere, I was always in my head, and I would have knots in my stomach because I wouldn't know what to say. And I'd walk into places and I'd feel nervous. After that experience, it was like a shock because I would go into a Starbucks where I would normally walk in the door and I feel some kind of nervousness or something. Didn't know exactly what it was, some kind of anxiety, and I didn't feel it. And I talked to the person behind the bar and I didn't feel the anxiety anymore. And that was a shock to me. That was almost like this a similar reaction, kind of like, "Wait, why is this? What?" And the more I noticed that, the more the more free I started becoming because I could be myself. It didn't matter what they thought, and would embody who I actually was. So Breathe with Sandy is another one I recommend. Brian Begin, so Brian, Brian Begin. Search YouTube his name and reveal and release, and you'll have a bunch of meditations from there. The book Letting Go is another one that is very, very, very good, but it's much more heady. And I would highly recommend that you focus on this. This is the inner you. This is you. And the more that you become who you were meant to be, the more that you're going to express that same internal shift into the external in your business. So your business success starts with inner freedom, and the blocks you carry limit your potential. This will allow you to be open to letting a virtual systems architect document everything in your business. You'd be open to learning things from the book E-Myth Revisited, the book Clockwork by Mike McCallowicz, and the book Work the System by Sam Carpenter. And when you understand and you have the capacity to implement those with a virtual systems architect, the sky is the limit in your business. You will grow in ways you could not even possibly imagine. And so, if that sounds good to you and you are open to doing that and you do it and you have the capacity, go to prosulum.com, www.prosulum.com/schedule, and get yourself a virtual systems architect that can help to scale your business in exponential ways. All right. My name is Dean Soto. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm excited to hear how your revealing and releasing process went, whether it was through breath work, whether it was through revealing and releasing. And I will see you in the next video.